Jurassic Park 3 was filled with mysterious scenes that had no clear explanation to them. This scene we are going to be talking about today is one of them. Today we are going to do some detective work and attempt to find out what happened to Ben in Jurassic Park 3. Welcome to the channel. If this is your first time visiting, be sure to subscribe and join our explorations and adventures. Today I will be your guide as we try to put the pieces together of possible scenarios that led to Ben's death and the events that followed. One of the most mysterious scenes that always left me baffled is not only the death of Ben, but also the state that Ben is discovered in. First off, when the group finds Ben, he is already in a full-blown skeletal state, which is insane, as Ben was only on Site B for 8 weeks. After a quick Google search, it would appear that it takes a lot longer than 8 weeks to become a skeleton. This means that there must have been some assistance in accelerating the decomposition process. Another problem we will discuss is what was left of Ben. From when I first watched Jurassic Park 3 as a kid, I never noticed Ben's legs were missing until recently. This has been quite the finding for me that I found extremely interesting, but I'm sure many of you have already noticed this. I'm not so much going to be talking about the fact that they're missing, but rather some possible ways this happened. The final part that I find difficult to understand is that when the group finally finds Ben, he swings down from pretty high up, a lot higher than what we get to see on the camera's footage. How could this have happened? Let's talk about it. The scene starts off with Eric and Ben detaching themselves from the boat after the crew had been wiped out by some dinosaurs in the fog. They set sail and begin to glide towards Isla Sorna. As they made their way to the island, they continued to pick up speed without a clear landing. They plummeted toward the island's thick tree canopy, with their only way to slow down their momentum was to smash through branches and vines. Once all the commotion settled, they'd find themselves hanging just a few feet off the ground. In the film, Ben is actually able to ask Eric if he's okay, and for the most part, no real indication of injury is present in the film. The film fails to present the scene as it was previously written. In the script, we get a better understanding of what happened to Ben in better detail. The script goes as follows. As the pair finally come to a complete stop while hanging in the trees, Ben asks Eric, "Are you okay, buddy?" The final cut leaves out vital tonation of Ben's voice, as the script goes on to say, "There's gurgling to his voice. Ben may be more hurt than he's letting on." Ben then says, "We're okay. It's going to be okay. Here, get ready. I'm going to unhook you." After unclipping Eric, Ben says in a weaker tone, "We're going to get out of this, pal," as the picture fades away. With this knowledge of an alternate script, we're able to see a little bit more details that help us paint the picture that Ben most likely died due to the fall. Ben seems to have taken majority, if not all the damage of the crash, most likely due to him being bigger than Eric. Besides this earlier screenplay, we also get information on what happened to Ben from the non-canon novel, Survivor, that has Eric Kirby explain what happened in the crash as follows. "I remember going down into the trees, branches ripping at us like claws, crashing, screaming, tearing. I remember hanging there, Ben telling me everything was going to be alright. Then looking at him and knowing that wasn't true. He'd been injured in the fall, badly injured. He told me it was going to be alright again. He smiled, then he got quiet. Even though his eyes didn't close, I knew he wasn't with me anymore." Now, while both of these pieces do support the idea that Ben was taken out by the fall, that still leaves a lot of unanswered questions. With Jurassic Park 3 going through so many changes, I do feel that Ben was injured in the fall. But I wouldn't be surprised if there may have been additional inputs that were not put on screen or left up to us to imagine. While I do think the crash played a huge role in Ben's death, I do believe that the fact that Ben was in such a decomposed state and that he had no legs was caused by other factors that were not made clear to us. Not to mention, he somehow ended up higher in the trees. Based on our knowledge of where Ben and Eric crash landed, as well as some knowledge of what certain dinosaurs were capable of, we are able to come up with a possible scenario. What makes the most sense to me goes something like this. As the pair took their descent, they crash landed through the trees. Upon landing, Ben got severely injured as he took majority of the impact as they broke the tree line. When they finally come to a complete stop, we are able to hear Ben ask Eric if he is alright without the gurgling sound in his voice. But there is pain behind those words. As their camera rolls, we are able to see that the two are hanging just a few feet above the ground. Ben then works his way to free Eric so that they can make sense of their current situation. After setting Eric free, he starts to set himself free, but he slowly starts to realize just how badly he's injured. there were sharp pains shooting through his legs. As he begins to observe his body, the aches and cuts start to ignite the pain throughout his body, but he has little time to really learn his current condition, as there is something in the distance. Something is coming, something fast. The raptors of the nearby nesting grounds heard the commotion and set off to defend their eggs in their territory. Eric and Ben notice they are being stormed by raptors. Ben yells at Eric to run and hide, and that he will be okay. Eric runs as fast as he can and dives into a hollowed out fallen tree, slightly in view of Ben, hanging there through some trees. The moss and the rotting wood mask Eric's scent. It's too late for Ben to unhook himself. The raptors just 100 feet away are piercing through the jungle floor. Ben's only chance of survival is up. He must climb. With every bit of strength left in the man's body, he begins to pull himself up as fast as he can, as the rapid footsteps get louder and louder. He's made substantial progress, but it is not high enough to be out of reach for the athletic beasts. The raptors launch off the ground and latch onto Ben's legs with their jagged teeth. Ben screams in pain and grips the parachute with all his might. He's determined to escape, and with Herculean strength continues to hold on, but he begins to scream in agony. Eric's eyes open wide as he watches the raptors tear both of Ben's legs completely off. Eric watches in shock as tears run down his cheek. Tears don't only flow for Ben, but also for himself. He will be alone on this island. Ben is still moving, but blood is pouring out of him. It does not look like he will make it. As two raptors feast on his legs, two more continue to jump and try to get the rest of their meal. But Ben, missing his lower half, is now out of their reach. As the last of Ben's legs are finished, the raptors retreat back to their nesting grounds. Eric looks at Ben as blood continues to pour out. Ben is no longer moving. Eric must now take on the island alone, and the island claims another victim. Compies make their way to feed on what is left of the raptor's kill, and Ben's body is left high in the trees, missing both his legs and picked to the bone. Now this is just what I always imagine sort of happened whenever I see this scene. I do think that I'm probably looking way too much into this scene, but it's Jurassic Park and I absolutely love getting lost in these films. Of course, these are just theories and we honestly will never really get an answer as to what killed Ben or the events that follow. While the novel and the script do suggest that the fall killed Ben and the fall alone, I do think that the other problems are not answered. I'd love to hear what you think happened to Ben and how you think his body got as it was. Also, it'd be awesome if you subscribed and joined our future adventures. Until next time, this is Content Jungle, signing out.